On a late afternoon in late summer, the air pollution count is 0.37, and sunlight mists the headstone of a star who was born, then died young. Beyond the lines of markers, a boulevard growls with traffic, and a billboard on stilts announces Elvis Presley in Las Vegas. The distant Santa Monica Mountains, blurred with heat and smoke, look as desolate as a photograph of the moon. Between the graves, through the haze of gas and carbon, someone approaches. He's thin, pale, maybe 20 years old, with flowing, Christ-like hair and mirror sunglasses, so you can't see his eyes, only yourself reflected. White T-shirt, old Levi's, bare feet. He hurries past the markers, carrying 3 apricot-coloured roses that blush at the centre and faint at the edges. Without noticing me, he lays the roses on the star's grave. I step up behind him and say, "Excuse me." His whole body quivers, then goes tense, as if he expects to be arrested. I explain I've read in a gossip column about this person who comes every Saturday afternoon to lay 3 roses on the grave of this star, and I waited for him last Saturday, but he didn't show up. He turns around and stares at me. His mouth twitches a little at the corners. "Oh, I had the virus, and my throat ached. I just felt too terrible to go out, even—" He indicates the grave. "For her." He puts a cigarette in his mouth. "I hope it doesn't seem wrong to you to smoke here, but I'm a completely addictive personality. You have no idea. Do you interpret my smoking in this place as a lack of respect?" I tell him no. There's no reason to make a thing out of cemeteries. All these people under all these markers are just dead. If they were buried alive, it might be different. "Yes. My mother was her housekeeper, just for a month." An innocent. It never occurs to him to question my curiosity. He was alarmed for a moment, but he really wants to talk about what he's doing. A loner, too. He talks to strangers because he has no friends. "It didn't work out. She and my mother didn't get along, but—" He gives an excited gasp. "One day I came to the house to visit my mother, and she was there. And I was introduced, and I brought her roses. You might say I was prepared for the event of her being there, just like the ones I bring her now. She adored the colour, and although she wasn't hitting it off with my mother, and who shall blame her, she couldn't have been more beautiful to me. But then she was—" A long sigh. "Oh, beautiful." He pauses, waiting for me to agree with him. His mouth twitches slightly again. I tell him yes, she was very beautiful. She asked what I did, and I told her nothing yet, but I thought maybe I'd learn to type and all that, so I might try and become a secretary, to someone in showbiz.